Tellius, the year 648, early summer. The northeastern nation of Dain lost a bloody war with neighboring Crimea 3 years ago. Crimea, however, abdicated its right to rule Dain and passed sovereignty of its former enemy to the powerful Benyan Empire. Dain's future is now subject to the whims of the Empire. Benyan's occupation forces have gathered all Dain men of fighting age and put them to work in labor camps. Their work is brutal and void of purpose, designed to break both body and spirit. The remaining population faces poverty and starvation as the fields lie fallow. A band of young heroes has escaped the Benyan army to form a group called the Dawn Brigade. Fighting for a free Dain, they alone have stood against Benyan's forces. They alone have shouldered the hopes of their nation. Among the company is a young girl named Micaiah, who is said to possess mystical powers. The people of Dain have come to know her as the Silver-Haired Maiden. They have come to think of her as the savior for whom they had been waiting. Benyan's forces have tried time and again to capture and silence the Dawn Brigade. However, Micaiah's ability to sense impending danger has thus far allowed the Dawn Brigade to evade the Empire's grasp.
Yeah, Benyon kinda sucks. Alright, the Dawn Brigade is moving from one hideout to the next. Apparently, they keep getting all these close calls, like... mysterious visitors. Alright, so I didn't get to talk about this too much going on. But, hey, there's Soth. So in Path of Radiance, Soth was stowaway. He is a thief unit who came in at level 1, came in very underpowered. Thieves in this game have access, well, in Path of Radiance, they had access to the worst weaponry. Very little reason to use him. But he did have a unique ability, which gave him dramatically improved growth rates at the cost of gaining less experience, like 2/3 of his of the normal experience. What made him unique was that if you got him to level 20, all of his stats will carry over to his stats in this game. He's the only character who's like that, for whatever reason. And there's also like a weird thing where even if his level 20 stats in Path of Radiance are lower than his default stats in Radiant Dawn, he'll take the lower stat if it applies. He'll take his Path of Radiance stat, rather. If you didn't get him to level 20, then don't worry about it. He gets some pretty solid starting stats. So, gonna have the fade to black to talk about what happened. Gotta keep the power secret. It's also worth mentioning that Soth has grown up like a lot in the 3 years. It looked more like an ankle biter in Path of Radiance, but I guess puberty happened. So good for him. So, one of the other things about the different difficulties is that there are actually different objectives depending on what difficulty you're playing on. Like, I know this chapter specifically, the condition I'm given here is defeat the boss, which is fine. Okay, that's fairly typical. I think if you play on hard mode, the condition is to escape, which is kind of a wildly different priority. But I guess that's neither here nor there. Let's check out Nolan. Nolan is, it's not quite the Jagan pre-promote unit, but he does come in at level 9, and he comes in with a steel axe, which is pretty good. Let's see. He even has the skill Nile, which is also like kind of actually really good. Just cancel enemy combat related skills. Reference. Let's take a look at our boss here. Okay, well, he doesn't have that. He does have critical 5. That is by virtue of his class. Drops a steel sword. Two kinds of symbols here. I guess I should point out. All the E's just means it's equipped. Anytime you see an enemy that has a lock on a weapon, that is a sign that means you cannot disarm the enemy. Which you might be wondering, how can you disarm any enemy in Fire Emblem? The answer is there's a skill called Disarm, which, if it activates, it forces the enemy to unequip their weapon, which means, you know, they're defenseless. Can't do it to bosses. Don't even try. Let's see. I guess we'll flip through enemies real quick in case there's anything interesting. Oh, all just bronze weapons. I'll deal with what bronze is shortly. Let's have Nolan come up here. He'll attack this guy with his big honkin' axe. As it always is, the weapons triangle is a factor here. weapons triangle if you're not super familiar with Fire Emblem, which is fine. Swords have an advantage over axes, axes have an advantage over lances, and lances have an advantage over swords. That's the rock, paper, scissors mechanic we've got going here. And what it means to have an advantage is there's an accuracy bonus and an evasion bonus, and even a damage bonus. So you'll deal an extra point of damage, you'll have it varies from game to game, but normally it's about a 30% higher hit rate. Enemies' hit rate will be lowered by 30%. Enemies' damage will be reduced by 1 point. Things like that. So as a general rule, you want to get your matchups right. Now, Edward got a pretty good level before, so he had both the strength and the speed to double up on that guy to kill him in 1 round. Good for him. As someone who shares the same name, I appreciate that. I guess I'll talk about biorhythm. Biorhythm is this whole thing. Changes on a turn-by-turn basis. Every character has different frequency, amplitude. If it's between that white line in the middle and either of those gray lines on the inside there, the biorhythm is normal. That means their stats are just fine. There's no penalty. There's no bonus. It's okay. When it gets to that next set of lines, or the next areas outside of those lines, there's a slight change to their accuracy, their evasion, and even their skill activation rate. So that kind of outer region that's still between the gray lines, that would be like a 5% difference. When it's beyond either end of those lines, then it's a 10% difference. You can see Nolan is good. The indicator shows that his rhythm is going to get better, probably in like the next turn or so. That's why his accuracy went up at next attack. Micaiah is at her best. It's a lot of it you really don't need to actually worry about, so don't. It's fine. But it is, a thing that just kind of affects the numbers, really. Got all those healing items saved up, so I might as well use them, right? Visiting. Let's visit this place. I should have had Nolan visit. Got a hand axe? That's fine. Hand axes in the Fire Emblem world, they are axes that you can throw. Wow, another level already. What you got for me, Edward? Extra point of strength. And defense. Those are both good. Wouldn't turn your nose up at either of those. I am still, however, of the opinion that as the Lord, Micaiah should get a healthy amount of experience. He does not have a healthy amount of stats. Like that 15 HP. Oh my god, why is her HP only 15? She got some speed, though, and that's going to help a lot. Actually, I want to check some. Alright, so this... Oh, she's not slowed down by that at all. Okay, that's good. There are lots of little things that are kind of in play, kind of mechanically. Would have loved to have Leonardo finish this guy off, but I kind of put myself in a difficult situation where I couldn't do it. But if you're not familiar with the specific mechanics of Path of Radiance, what I was checking there... Hey, good level. Was the weight of the weapon that... of Micaiah's book. Because that is, like, the whole thing... Here. I'm not going to have him attack. More efficient that way. Anyway, what was it? I was talking about weapon weight classes. So in Path of Radiance and in Radiant Dawn, the weight of a weapon will affect their attack speed. Their attack speed determines things like their accuracy. No, not their accuracy, rather. Their evasion. Whether or not they can get 2 hits in a single battle or not. That kind of thing. And the way it works is, if the weapon's weight is higher than the character's strength, then the difference is essentially a penalty to their speed stat. Obviously, that's bad. That means that getting more strength, aside from increasing the offensive capability of your melee fighters, it's even good for mages. This should be fine. This should be... This'll be fine. One nice change that I do like that Path of Radiance did not was when you get that kind of like skill activation. It tells you what the skill is. You don't have to look it up. That part is nice. Oh boy. that does make a certain amount of sense. If they can blend into the crowd, great. Problem is, silver is a very distinct hair color, first of all. Second of all, they're all waving their weapons around. Moldy onions, what a curse. I guess one other thing that I get that's worth mentioning, that's something I can appreciate, is the way that the different soldiers here do have different faces. Like, even if they're half obscured by their helmets, like, you could see that the one guy had facial hair, the other guy had kind of a wider jaw, that kind of thing. It's a good detail. See, there are things that that one can like about this game. Oh no, is that Nico? That was Nico. We just made friends with him. Oh boy. Fire Emblem is saying a cab. Oh. Oh. They just know that her magic ability is called Sacrifice. I guess they got to look at her unit info screen. The people are rising up, and this is kind of the risk of standing up against armed forces. Turns out they're armed, and they probably don't care about your safety or well-being. If they did, you wouldn't be standing against them, probably. In case it wasn't clear that General Jared there is the baddie. Sure, murdering 3 civilians, cold blood, just out in the middle of broad daylight. That'll probably drive the point home. But after that last display, oops. Time to skedaddle.